retiring police dog Nero and releasing the dog to the trainer. I don't know if I got enough copies here. Was that in y'all's packet?
Yes.
Okay, you got that?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else need one? You got one of these?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The way this came about, this officer is leaving us. He was a dog trainer, and I've always wanted us to cut down a little bit on our budget plus our dogs. In my research, Germantown has 2, Collierville has 1, and Bartlett has 3. Not that we do what they do, but I mean, you're talking about 5 times more officers and 4 times the population. And when I talked to Mr. Inspector Coleman on this dog, it's not a bad dog or nothing, but he said they do have to have a muzzle on at times because out of the 4 dogs, it's not the friendliest one of the 4, because the ones I've seen, I don't think any of them are friendly. But apparently this one's not the friendliest. And so Ms. Lapidus said it would be good to get y'all's approval to go ahead and do this. You've got a copy of the contract. Mr. Cockman, have you read this contract?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a problem? Do y'all want to ask him any questions? Do you have any problems with this contract?
No, sir. None whatsoever.
I'd like you to just nod your head that it's okay, or a motion or a second, or whatever, or discuss it, or whatever you want. But y'all's pleasure.
You got a blank for person, the muzzle in the cage. Is that something you're going to want to do?
Sir?
The muzzle in the cage?
Yes, sir. I have no problems with any of that.
I mean, they did have a price gun.
Well, whatever. Inspector Coleman's got it.
So what you're asking us to do is retire this dog.
That is correct.
What's the average age of a dog that we retire out of our? We just recently retired.
Probably 3 years older than this one. But here's the thing: it's going to take 12 hours of training for a new officer to get ready for this dog.
What other costs is the city going to incur if we retire this dog?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Not if we retire. Cost is. And I meant to ask you to check on the insurance. You know what it costs per dog?
I know it's there's an insurance cost that comes per dog, but I'm not sure what it is.
Chief, what was the decision, a year or so ago, that we went to 3 dogs?
The decision was that we felt we needed to have one on each shift, a patrol dog and a drug dog. The dogs are cross-trained. Inspector Coleman is a certified trainer, and he trained these dogs. We've got many, many hours in training and a lot of money in these dogs. We felt we needed one on each shift because if we get rid of this dog and we have to search a building at 3 o'clock in the morning, or we have a car stop with narcotics, we'll have to call the dog in for overtime. We do have a 4th dog. That dog was given to us by Homeland Security. We were chosen over a lot of other departments for that dog, and that dog is bomb trained, as well as patrol. We just recently retired one. We had 5. We just recently retired one 2 months ago, and there is a cost. Customary practice is if you retire a dog, we feed the dog, and we pay medical for that dog, and we bury the dog, because the dog has been a valuable part of the police department up until its retirement. We've never retired one, as far as I know, under the age of 10 or 11 years old until they get medically unfit for duty.
In this particular case, it's not going to cost us 1 penny because Mr. Cockman has agreed to take care of every bit of that. Every bit of it. I wouldn't even be considering it if we were going to have to still pay the vet bill and everything else.
And we've got to understand, too, this does not cost the city of Millington, the citizens, 1 penny. All this is paid for out of the state drug fund.
2 things, Chief. What does it cost per year to keep a dog? Do we have those numbers?
$50 a month for dog food, and about
$300 a year
about
for
$300.
shots.
Come on up here, Charlie. About $300 a year for medical shots. Charlie is a recognized expert in the field of dogs.
So we're looking at roughly $1,000 a year.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Give or take.
And do we incur any possible liability of this dog once it leaves here
No, sir, that's what Barbara Peters went over this for.
Okay.
Well,
Just wanna make sure.
you know, and to coin a phrase from Ms. Lapidus, that's an opinion. She did the same thing others. We've talked to some attorneys and they agree that it might not be in the best interest to give it to the individual. If we gave it to another department, that department would bear the liability from that point on, not the police department any longer.
When did we get the dog? How long did we have it?
About a couple of years
A
ago.
couple years ago, so we trained.
They went through
It had already gone through with the
they went
training
3 or 4
guy?
weeks, yeah, they went 3 or 4 weeks to Memphis to get the narcotics training portion of it, Heath and the dog, and then they went through 12 weeks with me on the patrol dog. Matter of fact, I think we had 2 or 3 at the time going through all at once. I think we had one for another agency, I'm trying to think at the time, but we had 2 or 3 going through at the time.
I'm not gonna get an argument whether it costs the city taxpayers any money or not. I consider all money to belong to the taxpayers. There's no special funds for anybody. But it will cost us taxpayers 12 weeks of training. It will cost them 8 hours overtime a month training on this dog. And it will take an officer probably 50% of his time to do dog work instead of police work. He'll still be able to do both. He'll still be able to do both, but you can't transport a person with a dog in the back.
That's the only thing.
Okay. I'm not going to argue, Chief.
Well, if the goal here is to whittle down the number of dogs that we have, okay, then I think, well, I mean,
May I speak?
is that the
Just a minute.
I'm in the middle of something.
No, just a minute.
Sorry.
If that's the goal, okay, then I think we need to look seriously at either some kind of policy or else do it through attrition here, because to me, this is an asset to the city of Millington that we're not fully utilizing right now. And I mean, I know in the past the history has been at the age of their term, and it's usually 10 or 11 years when these dogs get to a state of retirement, then their owners and what have you get them. So I think
I'm just looking at the other communities. Only got 3, 2, and 1. But now this 12 hours of training, Chief, have you put in for that? Who's going to pay for 12 hours of training? 12 weeks of training.
What 12 weeks?
How long does it take to train a new man?
They do it as a work schedule. We moved Heath to days when he went through the school, and that's his work schedule today. They work 4 hours with me, 4 hours on the street.
So they'll be taking.
Pay any overtime.
There wouldn't be any cost on training a new officer.
It's going to be his full salary for 12 weeks to train a dog instead of
About 12
police.
weeks.
It's about 10 to 12 weeks, but it's a
Okay.
half day is what it is.
What does he do the other half
Works the street.
without the dog?
Well, they can ride around, but they can't do anything. But they can go work rags, answer calls, write tickets, you know.
It's my understanding that this dog was pretty vicious. That's one of the reasons that you're concerned about another handler taking him. Is that true?
The dog is more aggressive than the other dogs we have. I'm not saying that I am the only person that could handle this dog. All I'm asking is consideration. The dog is kind of part of my family. I know he is I guess a property of the city. He is. But my family and I have grown attachments to this dog. You can ask Inspector Coleman. He has worked dogs quite many years, and he will tell you, he gets attached to his partner. I mean, that's his partner. That dog's with me 24/7. I know that the department has talked about downsizing the canine division. It has been talked about several times. I ended up trying to better my family as far as going and seeking another job. When I talked to Inspector Coleman about possibly taking the dog, at that time he personally did not see any problem with it. He did say that we would have to talk to the chief. After the fact, it was no. You're not taking the dog. In my opinion, I feel that I'm kind of being a little spited. That's just my opinion.